cold cases involving a suspected serial killer just outside of New York City might finally be solved.
Police on Long Island making an arrest this morning in a case that's been known as the Gilgo Beach murders. 11 sets of human remains were found on a stretch of highway in 2010 and 2011. The unsolved case gained national attention over the years. It was even featured in the 2020 Netflix film called Lost Girls. NBC News correspondent Rehema Ellis joins us now with the latest. So, Rehema, the suspect is only charged with 3 out of the 11 murders. What's standing out to you right now?
A lot, because this is unfolding as we speak today. What I have in my hand here is a 32-page bail application that the law enforcement presented to the court. That arraignment was held just a short while ago. This suspect has been remanded without bail. You pointed out the 3 counts of murder in the first degree. There are 3 counts of murder in the second degree. What the prosecutor said about this man, 59-year-old Rex Heuermann, an architect who has a business in Manhattan but lives on Long Island, and authorities and neighbors are saying that he lives in the house he grew up in. He lives there now with his wife and his 2 adult children. What they said, what led them to them in part, that this man uses multiple fake names, used multiple burner cell phones, was recently researching child pornography, and investigators were tracking his recent online activities and is interacting with sex workers. You know that several of the victims of this case were sex workers, so this becomes a significant aspect of this. How this is all unfolding is really fascinating because it does appear that they are led to this suspect via cell phone information and DNA. There's a news conference that's coming up in the next hour. We hope that we'll learn even more from authorities about exactly how they tracked him. After so many years, more than a decade, this was a cold case. So it's a stunning development. They've announced an arrest today.
Tell us a little more about the victims. I mean, in terms of the scale of this, what we'd heard in the Netflix documentary, which I had watched, talks about are these 11 different people. Most of them in that 11 are women in their 20s. There was a toddler and there was also a man who was still unidentified. But it's only 3 charged here. What do we know?
Well, what we know is, maybe to go back a little bit on the timeline of this, when this first occurred in 2010, police were out looking for a woman who was reported missing, and that was Shannon Gilbert. In the process of looking for her along Gilgo Beach, they discovered another body. Shortly thereafter, they discovered another body. Within a year, they had something of remains of 10 to 11 victims, and they were stymied. They were baffled about all of this, not knowing what the connection was. But there was a connection that many of these victims were sex workers. And so now we have heard from the sister of one of the victims, Sherry Gilbert, the sister of Shannon Gilbert. She says, "I'm overwhelmed but relieved that they finally caught him. It's been a long time coming, and I never gave up." You'll learn more in the coming minutes and hours.
Rehema Ellis, thank you so much for bringing us all of that. A lot developing. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.